That's ridiculous, man. Sorry about that, y'all. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that, y'all. It made me restart. I clicked on add a friend and it bought me out, pulled me out. There we go. Okay, we on now. This is it right here, y'all.
Tamale.
You gotta beat the. There you go.
Look at that. We scamming the scammers.
You know what I'm saying? See what happened when black people put their brains together? That's what they don't like about us. They say, y'all gonna figure some stuff out.
You can walk in the Facebook. That is so weird. I wonder why was I not allowed to. It didn't give me any on my phone or on my computer. I was not able to join.
You was on the punishment. They didn't want you talking to me.
I have never even used their live. Wow.
But see, they felt the energy that was about to happen, and they knew if we let these two come together, this is not good. Normally, these kind of people don't come together. Two people that actually know what they're doing, that been in the game for a long time, this ain't going to be, they don't want that to happen. We ain't two real estate agents either, by the way. Two investors get on the phone together, and they doing more than just talking about real estate. They done bought it, owned it, done it, been there, done that, right?
Well,
so we're gonna invite a few people in.
We're gonna
Y'all
move
share
on.
this video, huh?
So we're gonna move on anyways.
You know what I'm saying? We got to be creative. I always tell people sometimes you can't walk through the front door, so you got to go around to the side of the house and climb through the side window to get in. Sometime, you know. So that's what we just did. We had to sneak in on them.
So what's going on in Louisiana?
You know, Louisiana is kind of popping right now. It's like really amazing things happening out here because you got all of these people from Los Angeles being gentrified, and they're like cashing in their chips and selling their properties. You know, Los Angeles, New York, all over the country, Tennessee, Texas, just all over the country, people's real estates are skyrocketing. So we got this big mass exodus of people moving all around the country, this big migration. And Slidell, Louisiana is reaping the benefits of all these people moving. So you got people who really, you know, they sold their houses for 500,000, 700,000, and they're coming out here and being treated like royalty. They're like, oh my God, you got 700,000? Come on out to Slidell. You know what I'm saying?
So what's the population like out there?
You know, I haven't ran those comps yet, but I really don't need to read them because I seen what I need to see. They're building thousands of brand new homes. Like right now, I got a house we out here on the lake. It's a brand new neighborhood, brand new golf course, brand new lake behind all the houses. And they built 2,000 homes already where we're at now, but they're building an additional 2,000 on the other side of town. So that clearly tells me what's going on, you know? So it's phenomenal going on. It's phenomenal. And it's not just about the houses and the real estate, it's about the opportunities that all the houses are bringing, because now you got big time need for commercial, you know? There's commercial buildings needed. So guess what's happening out here with the commercial buildings? Commercial skyrocketing out here.
The price?
The prices are skyrocketing, and the rent just went bananas. It's like we can't even talk about rent. It don't make any sense out here, you know? It's like, how can you have renting for, you know, $1,000, no, $1,200, $1,500, but the building is only worth $80,000 or something. You know what I mean?
That's how
Somebody ready to
it's
kill you.
looking right now out here in Sumter. You can get a building for less than 100,000, and then the rent is literally like $1 a square foot.
It's crazy. Tell us about who you are. You know, you on my page, so talk to us. Who is Elaine? Who are you? What are
Elaine,
you doing?
I am a top 20 under 40 young entrepreneur for Sumter County, Clarendon County, and Lee County, South Carolina. And Sumter is the biggest of the three counties. Sumter is also actually the biggest county in South Carolina land-wise, not population though. We're about 45 miles from Columbia, South Carolina, and about an hour and 30 minutes from Charleston, South Carolina. We're 3 hours from Atlanta and an hour and a half from Charlotte, North Carolina. So we are in the middle of everything.
Everything.
And
Everything.
I just look for real estate deals. I got started with real estate thanks to my father, who had left me, wasn't a lot of money actually. I was in Palm Beach at the time that I received it. It was just like $100,000, and Palm Beach is very expensive. So $100,000, you know, wasn't gonna afford me much. It would have had me with all of my eggs in one basket. And so I decided to come back up here to South Carolina. LeVar Watson, you're headed here now. Yeah, well, that's
That's my
awesome. You
topic.
know, the good thing about South Carolina, we actually made the Forbes list 2 years in a row for places where millennials are relocating, and also businesses are doing ventures out here because it's low tax, low prices. Like I was saying, $100,000 in Palm Beach wouldn't do anything, but I came to South Carolina and got several pieces of property with that money. So now I just kind of do wholesaling, and I haven't done any flips, but I just wholesale deals and turn them into rentals and hold on to them.
So tell me, you got this 100 grand from your dad. Let's talk about it, because that could have been a whole bunch of Louis Vuitton purses, a brand new BMW truck, you know what I'm saying? Some red bottom shoes, you know, a
Now,
bunch of stuff.
I
So
will admit, I did slide in a BMW truck. I did slide in a BMW truck. However, I was also able to fully pay off 2 pieces of commercial property and also 3 houses. So I got all of these wholesaled. And I was 26 at the time, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna have to get that X5 in there. But now looking back, you know, I probably could have got 2 more pieces of property. But you know, you live, you learn.
Ooh-wee. So, I mean, mindset. When you say commercial property, you're not talking. Tell the people, because somebody may be thinking you're talking about a apartment building, 5 unit or something. Tell us, what does commercial property mean to you? What did you get?
So, okay, I acquired a building in Florence, South Carolina, which is a commercial retail building, 3,500 square feet. The other commercial properties I acquired in Sumter County, and one's kind of small. Let me look that up. I want to say it's about 1,500 square feet. And I paid those off completely on the spot. Those were cash deals, and both of them were less than $10,000 each.
Okay.
Yep.
They say, Tiffany wants to know, where are some of the best places for us to migrate? You know, for migrating, why? Well, that's why I've been traveling around the country. It depends on, see, the best place to migrate is the place that's affordable, right? The place that's affordable to you. And the question is, how much money do you have? Do you need to come out there and get a job? You know what I mean? So if there, you can find places that got cheap real estate, but there may not be any jobs out there. But if you come out there looking to start a business, then you may find affordable houses and uh, 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 be in a great area to start an up and coming business. So, I mean, that can take you from anywhere from Alabama, South Carolina to the outskirts of Georgia, depending on what's your situation.
Yeah, and I did notice even in Atlanta, because I was in Atlanta this summer. Some of the same numbers that I see in South Carolina are actually in Atlanta if you do your research. I was on the
You saying
outs.
residential or commercial?
Well, this was residential that I looked at. I didn't look at any commercial buildings in South Carolina. It was all residential. But I was seeing houses. I was in Liberty, I think is the name of the town. Let me make sure before Union City. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Oh yeah, that's Union City, right? I've been there.
Yeah, Union City. I was seeing houses that are about 1,500 square feet, distressed property that were selling $15,000-$20,000 a pop.
In Union City.
Yeah.
Let me look that up. I'm on the internet right now looking at Georgia, so we about to punch in Union City.
And then
So
also, I was near. Now I don't know the name of this town exactly. It was near the club. Oh gosh, hold on. As soon as I tell you the name of the club, you're gonna be like, "Oh, everyone knows that club."
Union City has a brand new movie company out there, like Paramount Studios or somebody like that. There's a studio company out there. I was just out there.
Oh
And
wow.
also, I think Coca-Cola or one of those big people just moved out there. Their corporate headquarters is out there. So it's a lot of construction down there. They're building million-square-foot warehouse buildings out there in large numbers in Union City. Uh, anyway, down south of the airport, down that way where you were.
Mm-hmm. Let me find.
So tell us. First, we gotta let them know what are we doing what's going on the 28th. What's going on this month? What are we doing?
Well, on the 29th, Black Friday, we have Urban Invest going on in Sumter, South Carolina. And so basically the goal is to bring in Black-owned businesses like pop-up shops. I actually did this last year. We had about 10, let me see, 10, maybe 12 vendors that were here. And then we also had an artist on site who was doing like Black art. And so this year I figured, hey, let's take it a step further and let's bring in a speaker because, that's just my whole goal. Is to bring awareness to just supporting Black-owned businesses. And a lot of people are like afraid of that because they're like, hey, where we are in the country now is diverse. Like, why are you promoting segregation? And it's nothing like that. I just feel like minority businesses don't get the attention that they deserve. So we need to, Black Friday, why not focus on Black businesses and bringing awareness to them? I feel like Black Friday is perfect timing because people aren't going to the malls like they used to. So the malls aren't there to compete with us because, Amazon has taken over the malls, closing down those retail shops. So
Right.
people aren't going to sit and stare at a computer the whole Black Friday. So why not let's get together and support smaller shops,
So
And
who's the
so
speaker you got coming out?
my guest speaker is the author of this awesome book that I read first because I don't just bring people out just because they have a book. I actually read the book, Monetizing Gentrification. And that's by author Thomas T.J. Lofton. And
Okay, I know that guy. He pretty cool. Yeah, all right.
I just felt like Mr. Lofton was an excellent selection to get out here because I'm always like, I don't know if any of you are followers on my personal Facebook page, but I'm always, when I'm renovating something or I'm acquiring real estate, I usually go live and I try to spread the word with other minorities in my community because I focus actually on the inner city. And so I'm not one of these selfish people who think, oh, let me get up all I can and forget everybody else. Like, to me, that's boring. It would be more exciting if more people my age were involved and we were doing this together. So, that's my goal and my intention on bringing you out, because sometimes when you hear things from people from bigger cities, you may connect more with it. So I thought you were a perfect person to help bring that forth.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, you are a real estate person. You own commercial buildings, you own residential properties, and you decided to buy my book. What's in that book that you didn't know already? What's in that book that made you say, what's it about me that you heard, or what is it? Tell us something about that book that made you say, whoa, I got to get this guy out here.
I mean, basically, a lot of the things, I already knew, but just your presentation, overall, like, I just thought it's just awesome how you presented the terminology. You have these workbook pages in the book that ask you questions to make you, think about what you just read. So your presentation style is what was new to me. Sometimes you hear people speak or say things, but you don't really know that they know what they're talking about. And it's just the way you presented the material throughout your book. Like, it had me thinking. Let me flip the phone for a second. My book is full of notes. Even in the sections that, I answered the questions for the workbook section, I took notes on different pages that weren't workbook sections. I just, the book kept me engaged throughout the entire reading of it. I'm actually rereading it now. I will say that one of my favorite points in the book that I just knew, like, oh my goodness, he's like in line with what I'm already doing. The fact that you pointed out that a person shouldn't really worry about how much money they have because this is a buyer's market. You broke down the difference between a seller's market and a buyer's market. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. Usually, to me, having cash on hand just is a leverage thing. That's what I like to do. Come in with cash on hand and get things for lower than what they were listed at, because I feel like it's always a buyer's market. I know you said it's different times, but to me, if you make the right connections, it's always a buyer's market, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, in certain areas, yes. But if we're in this one area and it's just your local town, you live here in Georgia, in Atlanta, it's a season when it's too expensive and it's not a buyer's market, And then there's other times, like if a major corporation just left town, oh, that's definitely a buyer's market. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different times, and I felt like it was important that people needed to know that, because a person who's been watching the Kardashians flip houses and getting caught up with this TV stuff, they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna go buy something because I saw the Kardashians. They'll just come in. I got my money. I'm moving from California, and I'm gonna just buy the first thing I see. And they don't go in there and negotiate. They just walk in there and will buy the first thing they see, not realizing this house been on the market for a whole year and a half at $100,000, and then they'll just walk in and pay $100,000, no questions asked, when the house it was really worth 50.
But you know why they do that? Because Like I said, I had been living in Palm Beach like full time before I came back to South Carolina. The fact that you can find a house less than $20,000, less than $40,000 is like unimaginable. So when you're coming from a major city and you hear this, like you almost feel like, oh my God, I got to jump on this before this disappears, not understanding that it's low numbers everywhere across the state. So I just pulled up another side of Georgia that I was in because I told you I wanted to Google the club that we were near. It was called Magic City. And so the road that Magic City is on, it's like a little highway next to it. Then there's Magic City right there. If you take that little back road, I saw like you go under a little bridge and there's like a bunch of houses out there. Let me tell you the name of the street actually. Let me Google it. Ponce de Leon.
You talking about boarded up houses or?
Boarded up distressed property, yeah. And they were like 1,500 square feet houses, you know, the same little layouts you see across the South.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big for Georgia.
1,500 square feet?
That's big. They got, was it a 3-bedroom or a 2?
I didn't look at any, but they look just like some of the neighborhoods that I invested in South Carolina. So I'm assuming they're the same 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath setups.
Georgia has Atlanta has a whole lot of 2-1s out there. Whole neighborhoods with 2 and 1.
Yeah, this was definitely bigger than that.
It'd be like 900 square feet. You know, I've seen some 700 square foot houses, 900. So when you start seeing the 15s, that's literally got to be a 3 or 4 bedroom if you're talking about Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, free game. If you're in Atlanta, drive out there, right where Magic City, that little street that's on the side there.
So tell me why, okay, you got yours. You good. You good. Dad left you some money. You rolled it into some property and you good. Like you said, you had the X5, you own multiple properties, multiple houses. Why bring TJ out there? Why go live and tell people what's going on?
Well, actually, I don't feel like I'm good because, you know, you never know what could happen. God forbid something happened and I can't go to work anymore. I would be totally dependent on my residual income. So that's actually why I still acquire real estate. Now I just do it differently. The thing I do now is get credit cards. I actually just copped a deal a few weeks ago, 800 square foot house. I paid $5,000 on my city credit card. And I went ahead and, you know, put that in an LLC name expeditiously. And, you know, I'm going to pay my credit card back because I'm going to use that to purchase another deal. But let's say something happens and I couldn't pay it back. Now I have that in the LLC. So now, you know, it's not even touchable. That's a whole nother subject. But I feel like the point, why am I wanting to share knowledge with others? I mean, the simple fact of, I don't know if you guys have this same experience, but it just seems like the generation before us, like they don't really share information. Like everything's secret or hush hush. Or as soon as, you know, Black people, as soon as they get ahead in life, now they just leave you in the bucket and don't throw you no bait, no worm, like no information whatsoever. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You have to figure stuff out on your own. And I just feel like that's so selfish because with me spreading information on Facebook, even if you don't come to my event, and even if the information I give you is enough to go get your own properties, you're not going to hinder what I'm doing or my progress. So why not share the knowledge? Like you have to treat others the way you want to be treated is what I feel. So I'm going to share information because I wish I had people sharing information with me when I was trying to figure stuff out. And now, like, even as I'm still trying to figure stuff out on the next level, like I just wish others were more transparent and more trying to help each other. And it's disturbing. I don't know why minorities, why do we treat each other like that? Like, I have strangers that are other races and they give me information, tell me what to do, be volunteering stuff that I didn't even ask for. But when it comes to us, it's like we hoard and harbor information, and like if it just, like I said, it just feels like most people feel like, oh, if I share something with TJ, he gonna take it and run with it, and then I'm gonna be struggling. Like, I just don't agree with that.
That's not how I grew up. I grew up in an environment where, we were all, it was abundant out there. And like I said, somebody said, TJ, you should restore these cars and learn this real estate. You will never be broke. And they didn't just tell me that I should do it. It was like, take down this phone number, call the guy and tell them I told you and give you my price. And if he don't give you my price, call me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, thank you. I appreciate that. So when I'm walking through the door, TJ first time buyer with 30 years of referrals on my back. You know what I'm saying? I come in under this guy, had 30 years of friendship with this guy and spent millions of dollars with him. And he's a referral of TJ. TJ referred him. So look out for TJ like you would treat me,
Mm.
And that was just like a greatly appreciated. So I do the same things, I get speaking engagements and people say, TJ, do you know anybody else that could come speak? And I'd be like, yeah, I know a guy. Let me make some phone calls and see if they're available, And that's how we're supposed to help each other,
Mm-hmm.
It's not about hoarding. If we decide that we're gonna hoard this knowledge, what's the population of Sumter? How many houses Sumter got?
So vacant houses in the city, there's actually 450 accounted of vacant houses. The population of our city and county combined is 240,000 people, with 40,000 of those people living in the city, the downtown area.
So you'd be pretty foolish to think that you can get all 400 of those houses by yourself, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, unless I hit the lottery next week, if I hit the lottery next week, y'all in trouble, because
that may change. You're gonna buy all of them, but in the meanwhile, it's like, okay, well, since you don't and you decided to share, it's like, okay, well, maybe other people will be on the phone and say, hey, let's work together, y'all. Y'all out there, and I don't live out there. So can I put some money in and be a part of what y'all doing, And it's like so much opportunity all around the country. People got to pay for the game, though, It's like it costs money to travel around the country and to go back and forth. And you driving from here to Florida, from South Carolina to Florida regularly, you seeing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm flying around the country. That stuff is expensive. So why not pay to come and listen to us speak? You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. We know about cities that most people ain't even heard about.
Mm-hmm.
People never been to Georgia. Now what's the problem with people? They always say, oh, I live in Atlanta. You should move to Atlanta. But they do not live in Atlanta. They live in Union City. You know what I'm saying? They live in Duluth or Decula or
Stone Mountain.
Now, yeah, or Stone Mountain. And you don't know anything about anything other than Atlanta. So when you come out there, you're like, you don't want to go look at Stone Mountain and Duluth and Union City because you don't know anything about it. You only know Atlanta. And that's what people are Googling, like, wow, okay, Union City, that's probably where all the Klan live. I can't go out there. You know what I mean? So people think Stone Mountain, oh my God, that's where the Klan is. I bet you there ain't no black people living there. Black people only live in Atlanta. Like, no, that's not true. But
yeah, they're in Covington, Lithonia, Gwinnett.
All over the state. They all over the state. You know what I'm saying? Powder Springs and the big money areas like Vining. Vining is like woo-wee. Vining and Sandy something. Man, I'm out there looking at mansions like they ain't just no big house. I'm talking about mansions like 18,000 square feet worth 16 million,
Whoa.
Like they like, oh, That's Big Boy's house. You know what I'm saying? The rapper Outkast, he lives there. You know, like wow, it's like real wealth out there. You know what I'm saying? You know when they like, okay, you go TJ, we're gonna fly you in to Atlanta. I mean, fly you in through a private airport. I'm like, whoa, really? There's a private airport by my house. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
okay. Yeah, you gotta have you know it's $1 million neighborhood when there's a private airport and you got a bunch of jets landing right there, you know. So I
That's
never knew they
funny.
had.
We have a little private airport here in Sumter.
Do they got jets out there or Cessnas?
I have no clue. I've never gone near it because I can't take a flight out of it, and I've never known anyone to take a flight out of it. So,
Don't
but it's been
don't
there
say you
forever.
can't. Don't say you can't. You know what I'm saying? Because you can. You know, and that's the part. Another conversation. People think that having a plane is expensive. I mean, owning a plane that's for the rich people. But the reality is, you know, they got people buying airplanes for the cost of cars. You know what I mean? They
Really?
got people who, yeah, they got people who will buy a $15,000 Cessna and fly to work every day.
So when you
Can you
say
believe that?
Cessna, you mean like those little two-seaters?
Yeah, a Cessna would be like a Toyota Corolla, for example.
Oh yeah, I think that's what's in the airport out here. Because living in Palm Beach, we had a private airport near
Yes,
my house, and Donald Trump was flying out of there every week. So yeah, it's
right.
not that serious out here. But
There ain't no Cessnas at that airport. Them is
yeah, no,
jets at that
no,
one.
those were
Those
little
are
jets.
those will be where the jets are flying out of. You know, but see, that's a whole nother conversation to success. It's
We
not
can
just
charge
about,
it.
hey, I got money. Now I can go buy me a brand new S550 Mercedes. It's like, well, wait a minute. I got money. So now things have changed in my life. Let me go ahead and get my pilot license now. Let me go ahead, instead of me buying a $100,000 Mercedes, let me go buy a nice airplane for like 100,000, and now I can fly back and forth to Florida. You feel me?
I'm over
Let me
here
fly
smiling because
here.
that doesn't sound bad. I might need to
That's
invest in one.
amazing. Hey, that's amazing. I'm telling you, I got friends, I got helicopters and planes, and everybody like, oh, he's rich and he's the man. I'm like, he ain't that rich. He got a job making $60,000 a year. He just smart as fuck. Excuse my language.
Yeah,
He's
I
very
mean
well.
it's not how you how much you make either. I mean, it's what you do with it. Cuz you can be a
Right,
millionaire and not own anything and then lose it all tomorrow and have nothing to fall back on.
right. People look at me, you know, it's like I've been around so many successful people, and success ain't just about having 10 million in the bank. I know people who got 10 million in the bank, but I also know people who ain't got but 100,000, but they own airplanes. You feel me? So you would think the person that owns the planes got the 10 million, and the other guy, he got 10 million, but you can't even really tell. He's just driving a new Mercedes. You know what I mean? He got a nice house, but you can't tell he's wealthy. But I got people that ain't wealthy that got hell of a lifestyles. They're like, TJ, we're gonna fly out to Catalina Island for lunch this weekend. You want to fly? You want to join? I'm a part of the Black Pilots Association. You're like, what? The
Oh, there's
Black
a
Pilots
Black Pilots
Association?
Association. That's so awesome.
Hey, that's an amazing Black Pilots Association. I'm hanging out with them, and they're like, "Oh, that's Bob. He owns about 50 Denny's and stuff like that, and that's Mike. He owns this, and that's Rick. He owns that." And it's like, whoa, some major players in here, you know.
Mhm.
And that's the same thing when we had our race boats, and I had the boat club. You know what I'm saying? We got brothers that got some major money, and you know, so it's not just about saying, hey, I own some houses, I got a bunch of money. It's about what you do with the money, you know?
Mhm.
I know a lot of people who had money buried in the backyard, and you never knew they was millionaires because they didn't look like it. And in fact, they didn't know what to do with the money. Does
That's
that
why
make sense?
when I got that 100,000, oh my goodness, I was 26, and I mean, I did not want to leave Palm Beach. I promise you, I did not. But part of me just knew, like, you got to make this last. You don't know when you're going to see it again. That was my mentality then. Now I know, I'll see more than that. But at the time, I was just like, make your next move your best move. And so I just, sacrificed and came out here because I didn't want to be like the average person who gets insurance money, go get some big house that's over their spending, and just to fit in with the Joneses, and then you struggling in that big house. So I just, took a sacrifice and I came out here. And, it's not as exciting as Florida, but, economic wise, it makes more sense. I have something to show for it.
So for real though, you could afford to stay in Florida. You did not have to leave.
Oh yeah, I mean, but why would I take $100,000 and go buy one condo when I can come out here? Now I can afford to go back to Florida actually, because the money I make from residuals from my rental can go afford me to go live where I would want to live in Palm Beach. But I mean, now that I'm back here, it's just like, I don't want it to just be me. I care about my local community where I grew up. And I just, I like the fact that the town is redeveloping, but I just feel like the same thing that's going on nationwide. Like, I don't want to see the community lose its heritage or its historical content because they're now changing the demographic that's, not recognizable.
Hold on 1 second. You're breaking up. Queen, can you hear me? So we got a little technical difficulties with her signal. But I just wanted y'all to know, I talked to some interesting people nationally, y'all, globally actually, and they've been dealing with some amazing things. You looking down on, you'd be surprised who got money and who don't. Uh-oh. Okay, we lost her. Let's see if we can get her back. Where'd she go? Okay, I'm bringing your phone in. I just click adding your phone. There you go.
Oh wow, they're letting Elaine on now.
You off punishment.
Yay! Yeah, but no, like I was saying, life isn't about self. Life is about, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to take care of yourself, but it's also about what you do for your community. I feel like it's not just about you yourself. So I'm out here taking a sacrifice because I want to see my community keep some of its historical context. When I left as a child, the downtown area where I'm at, there was actually a lot of Black-owned businesses on the other side of me. And so, I want to help people my age bring that back to life. Like, why are we letting our grandparents' businesses close down? And our grandparents, they work so hard to have things. Like, why are we letting it go? So that's my goal, man. We got to save our communities US wide, and business ownership, real estate, like all of that to me is the way. We need to be self-sufficient and not so dependent on this new society.
I'm looking at you. I see you got your dashiki on. You got your red, black, and green in the background. So a lot of people will look at that and say, those kind of people are broke and don't got nothing. It don't sound like that's you though, basically, right? So
no.
So just let that be known, y'all. Everybody that's about their life doing what they want to do ain't broke. You know what I'm saying? It's actually the people who like us who will wear a dashiki. It's about, I'm trying to keep my money in the community. I only want to give my money to people that look like me. So it's important that I don't know Ralph Lauren. I don't know Louis Vuitton, but it was a brother that made this dashiki. It was a sister that sold me the dashiki. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I feel like I'm helping to keep the money in my community. So that's what the red, black, and green people represent, is people who are serious. And now those people like us are very much standing forward and saying, hey, y'all, it's 1.4 trillion out here. Let's get it back. You know what I'm saying? So on a whole nother note, you want to chime in on that one, or get back to the real estate? I just had to sidebar that. But on a whole nother
Yeah,
note,
I know these conversations could go in so many different directions, right?
I know exactly. So on another note of the real estate, tell me, how is this the labor? How is the labor affecting you? Are you having problem finding African American people to restore your houses that you're putting together to rent out, or how's that working for you?
I mean, honestly, when you own your own properties, you're allowed to do a lot of work yourself, and that's what I have been doing up until this point. I recently just got flagged with the city, so now I have to get a specialty card or start looking for others to, bring on board to help do renovations. But I'm leaning more towards acquiring my own specialty cards. I'm in the process of working on my project management certification. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a tomboy, but I actually have fun out there renovating. So I
Wait.
haven't worked with many others.
So you saying you out there hanging drywall?
How old is this queen? I'm 33 years old. Yeah, I know how to do everything except for electrical.
Huh, that ain't even that hard, really.
No, yeah, no, my lack of electrical is because of fear, basically.
Oh, there you go. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she is 33 years old. What, you were 26 when you bought your first commercial building?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, how was it commercial versus residential? What made you go skip the apartment buildings and go straight to commercial buildings?
I mean, honestly, okay, I had a cleaning company, which I still do. Okay. So when I was in Palm Beach, I was always, real estate agents is a key way to grow your cleaning company. So I was linking up with people doing renovation work and real estate agents building new properties. And, I always watch HGTV. So I was always interested. So when I got that money, I mean, honestly, I just took risks. I saw low numbers. I went and looked at the buildings and saw the roof was standing. I tried to make sure that most of the structures were brick because, I know brick is pretty sturdy. And I honestly didn't know what I was doing. I just rolled the dice and looked for low numbers.
I love it. So,
And
okay.
and then I also knew that if you have corner lots, that those properties have the most value. So 80% of my properties are all corner lots.
Really? That's funny you say that
Mm-hmm.
because I don't like corner lots.
And
I,
since I've acquired corner lots, I do see some headache. Like people come throw trash
yeah,
out all the time on the corner lot.
right, right. I don't like corner lots, because it's about structuring and positioning. Cars turning the corner. Sometime when they have coming from that football game, they had a little bit too much to drink. They missed that turn and end up straight in somebody's yard. Or it's a lot of reasons why I don't like corner lots. But people throwing trash, like you say. So on a different note, labor. You say you do your own labor. So how much do you feel that you're saving when you're doing your own labor? How much are you saving on the average?
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm saving a lot of money because even for something as simple as painting, I think the average cost of painting out here is usually at minimum $100 per room. So let's say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's see, the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. 1, 2, 3 plus the 3 rooms, 6, 7, 8, 2 bathrooms. I mean, to paint a small house inside 1,500 square feet, doing the inside alone is going to cost roughly $1,200. Then, you know, you got to pay to have the outside painted. So, you know, that's $2,500 on labor right there that I'm saving because I paint myself. And painting is something you don't need a permit for. Laying tile in the bathroom, you don't need a permit for tile. Right.
Yet.
I don't even have a clue how much it costs to tile a bathroom, honestly. I mean, I've always YouTubed or read a book and learned how to do it myself. I went to Lowe's and bought a tile cutter.
That's funny you say that because someone asked me, they're like, TJ, what do you read? Like, oh, you're smart. TJ, what are you reading? What are you reading? They're thinking I'm finna say something. Chancellor Williams, Marcus Garvey. I was like, how to cut ties. Oh, snap. I hate that. Damn it. Excuse me, y'all. That was a very, very important call. Yet you said it right, brother. Let's see if we can bring Missy Lane back on. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, let's see. That should be her right there. My apologies. That was one of them $1 million phone calls. Like, oh, snap. Are you there?
Hello?
I said, my apologies. That was one of the $1 million phone calls. Like, oh, wait a minute. I got to answer that. My apologies. That's why I should have had the other phone. But you were saying, go ahead.
Am I on? I don't see anything. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I see you. Can you see me? I hear you.
No, I don't see you or hear you. I mean, I hear you, but I don't see you, nor do I see myself. Oh, gosh.
Okay, you are right there in the top right of my phone. Let's keep going. I can hear you.
Okay, no problem. So where were we?
You're clear. We were talking about costs. I wanted to hit you with some numbers. I want to hit you with some questions about numbers, about, like, for example, to rewire a whole 1,500 square foot house. Have you paid for that yet?
Oh, now, yeah, that's the one thing I have paid for, electrical work, because like I said, I am like afraid of electrical right now. I have to get over that. So I have a very, very good electrician. I use the same guy. He's a elderly guy and work was slowing down for him. So when I call, he's like happy. Um, let's see, he did rewire an entire trailer for me. I want to say the trailer was 900 square feet. And I paid for the electrical wiring, or my husband did. So I have no clue what did he pay for the wiring. Do you know what he paid for wiring? Okay, so yeah, my kids are always involved. So my daughter said the electrical wiring was 400 for this trailer, roughly. I know for a fact that the electrician was paid $1,200. So for under $2,000, that house was rewired. Anything else that I've had, we haven't had to rewire an entire house. I've had him do new light fixtures. in a 1,500 square foot house, and for all the light fixtures, sockets, he just basically hung them for me. I purchased them, and the wire was already, you know, in the ceiling, how it hangs out, and you just basically connect the light fixture. So for that, he charged me $350 to do the light fixtures in that 1,500 square foot house. I wish I could see this.
Oh, you can't see the hello? She got froze for a second.
Are you on that same original video, or do you have a new video going on?
It's the same video.
Oh, okay. Let me click it.
Uh-oh.
It said it closed out on my side. Technology is scary.
This is important. We got to learn how to do all this stuff. This is vital with the future. You there? So y'all, I like the conversation. This young lady is brilliant. You know, we've been talking for quite a while. I've been working with her on her projects, making sure that, you know, things are going the right way. You know, me out there on Black Friday, and we're gonna be there making things happen. We're gonna both talk about real estate in a major way, teaching people the game. So, event coming up on Black Friday in Sumter, South Carolina. Pull it to the side and click back on it. Do you want TJ to tag? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Let me see. I think here she goes here. Uh-oh, Elaine can't go live right now. She back on a punishment. Let's see if her daughter's phone. Where's your daughter's phone? What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you. Lonzo, I see you, good brother. Charity, LeVar, Kevin, Tiffany, Aaron, Tiffany, Mally. That's who we want to bring on. Uh-oh. Elaine, you on a punishment again. The phone don't want me to talk to you. So I guess that's working out because I got somebody some business to handle. Aaron, what's going on, fam? Oh, who we got here? She making a comeback.
Hello?
You made it back. You off punishment. You had to go mop the floor or something before Mama got mad.
Oh my goodness, this is so hilarious. So I'm gonna comment in the comment section the Eventbrite link. That way everyone can purchase tickets. They're only $10. I mean, basically the fee is just to assist with Mr. Lofton's safe travels. I'm really more interested in us learning how to help each other. So it's not a money making thing.
So you are stepping up to the plate. Yep, we back. You are stepping up to the plate to make it possible to bring people some amazing information. We're not just going to be there talking about stuff and things. We're going to be talking about things that y'all need to know so that y'all can capitalize or monetize this economy, because we're both seeing some amazing things out there, right?
Yeah, and I have that list of the 430 homes that the city have deemed as abandoned and distressed. So, you know, we can check that list out and try to contact some of the owners and see if you guys could get property also. That's the goal.
You know, you got two people that love their people. Our goal is to help y'all tap into this real estate. So I appreciate Elaine for stepping up to the plate and say, hey, we missing out on too much money out here. So I guess it's up to us to step up and make some arrangements to make this happen so others can be a part of this. When those holidays come, they go, will go broke, shaking my head. And that's what we're trying to stop. Instead of you going to Black Friday and buying the big old 58-inch TV that you really don't need to be watching, or buying that stuff that you really don't need, why not buy a house? A fixer-upper house. Why not invest in something, a project? And that's what people do. That's what I see people doing. When I go, what I'm saying, and I'm buying those, like we was talking about earlier about the flip homes, those track homes, there is a level of this is one of my things that I teach. When I buy a track homes, they built these track homes in phases, right? The first phase, they'll release 20 houses. The second phase, they'll release 50 houses. The third phase, they'll release 60 houses, hypothetically speaking. But every phase, the houses go up like 50,000, 100,000, depending on the demand of the phase that's sold prior, right? So imagine you ain't even got the keys to your house yet, and you making money. By the time you get the keys to your house, you got 50,000, 100,000 in equity in 4 months, for example. So you have to go in there, houses, you have to go in there and bid on them, or not bid, but auction. You have to be a part of an auction to go qualify, right? So I'll be sitting there and it'd be a room full of people that don't look like us. And they're like, literally, they're all putting their money together and trying to come up with this down payment to buy one of these houses. And I'm just sitting there like, I would like to be in there with 15 black people and we sitting there collectively trying to get like 20 of those houses, I would like to be a part of stuff like that. I mean, I've done that. I've seen that. I would go in there back in my day. I'd be like, Elaine, I'm gonna give you this $2,000 deposit money. I need to use your credit for like 3 months. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna give you 10 grand. You know what I'm saying? Just to use your credit.
You give me 10 grand, I'm gonna find 2 more deals.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do, and that's my way of putting you on. I'm gonna turn you on to the game. You gonna watch what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna let you do all the paperwork, so you'll see what's going on. I'm gonna give you the 2 grand for a deposit. When the house is ready, we're gonna sell it, and I'm gonna give you the other 8, and you give me my money. We good. And then boom, now you got 10 grand to go do the same exact thing I did. So that's how I would have to bring people with me, because I wanted to help people, So this is the type of stuff that we putting together so people can understand. Most people don't even know these games exist. These real estate investments exist. But again, when I go there, I remember sitting in that same room of another house we were investing in, community, and I'm thinking I know everybody in the room, right? I didn't talk to everybody. Where you from? Where you get? How you do this? This is what you do for a living. You know how you got to work the room, right? I know every name of the 10 people in that room, right? All of a sudden, they start calling out other people's names that ain't in the room. And I'm like, who the hell is those people? And then all of a sudden, the one Korean guy, he keeps raising his hand for all those people. He's sitting there representing about 100 people that ain't there. So, of course, he walked away with all the houses. I was like, wow. He walks off where I probably barely got 2. He walks off with 12 houses, out of the 20. And I'm sitting there like, wow. So he got 12 people, 100 people probably that trusted him that he could go buy houses in their name. And I'm just sitting there like, game learned. You know what I'm saying? I just learned something else new, But my thing is, there's so many people, so many ways to make so much money. And that's what we want to share and talk about, because people be like, I don't have no money. I ain't got, I can't raise. And I'm just looking at them like, you don't even, that's why I know you don't know real estate. Because All you had to do is partner with somebody like me and do what I did. People need your name. People need you to help them invest in other stuff, you know, because they try to put a limit on things so we can only buy a certain amount. But if you don't know the game, you only gonna walk away with one. But because I had that
Mm-hmm.
experience and that game and that knowledge, I was going in there and laying them out. And they were looking at me crazy, like, how you figure that out? How did you do that? You know, same like that Asian guy, the Korean guy. That is called a consortium building. Okay.
Consortium.
Uh,
Who is saying that? Oh, let me roll
uh,
down.
Shadya Evine. You know,
Oh
so
yeah, that's my brother. Like he purchased the ticket immediately when I posted. He used to come out to my minority urban networking event. Like he is definitely ready to learn, ready to contribute. Like he's there.
see, that's what I'm talking about. Like I said earlier, I want to help people who want to be helped. Does that make sense? You got a lot
He
of
and let me tell you about him. He is already looking into land. Like he wants to acquire a large amount of land and then let's create a community.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And that's why I'm glad you invited me out. Because when you come out of California, it's like things is totally different. I'm in California, like, y'all need to buy some land. And they like, land? We ain't seen no land. Ain't nobody got no land. Where you see land at, TJ? You go to Sumter, you go to Atlanta, it's like land everywhere. It's like people be
I
like, oh
mean,
yeah.
land, even
You there? There you go. You said even in, you there?
yeah, even in Florida, yeah. Like I can take us in Palm Beach. I can take us in Orlando. It's still undeveloped land in Palm Beach. You know how many millions of people in Palm Beach? Donald Trump is out there building Trump Towers, golf courses, Mar-a-Lago. Like, I mean, there's still land in Palm Beach. The whole South, like, there's a lot of undeveloped land in the South, period,
But the cool
or the
part is,
Southeast.
but see, the thing is, people got to know that we are out here. Like, for example, back in the days when I went out to the city called Palmdale, California, people was laughing
Mm-hmm.
at me like, that's too far. I'm like, that's a whole hour and a half. I'm like, that Palmdale's too far, and you drive a 2019 Range Rover? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many miles your car got on it? Like 17? You know? Like, really? So it's like, even then,
Think
now,
about back in the day before there were cars. These people
right.
were traveling horse and buggy on the other side of the country, going where the money was at. So, an hour can't with a car, that can't be too far.
And then now I'm going to Atlanta and Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee, and they looking at me crazy, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm like, they're like, man, you flying, you got all this money, you flying on the other side of the country. I'm like, that ticket cost me $119. One way, non-stop. You know what I'm saying? And I went out there, and you looking at me crazy like I'm a millionaire or something. No, 119,000. I'm sorry, $119 ticket, round trip, less than 250, and then you turn around talking about I bought a house for 20,000 or 10,000. Really? Are you kidding me? I think I saved a whole lot of money. Where somebody just sent me today, a friend of mine, no, yesterday they sent me a house. They said, TJ, I'm in LA and I'm about to buy this house, right? And I'm like, okay, so he sent me the information over. I want you to look at it, TJ. 2 bedroom, 1 bath in LA, Elaine. How much you think that house cost? It was a tear down.
In
It was
in LA, I would
in
assume that
LA.
LA price is close to Palm Beach. So I would say about 200,000. I don't know.
Ah! Take a wild guess. You off drastically. Take
I'm
a
off
wild
like
guess.
too much up or too down.
Too much up. Go up. No, too much. You're too low.
Whoa, are you serious?
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Tear down. 832,000. He's like, TJ, it just hit the market. I'm about to get it. I want you to look at it real quick. What do you think about this? I'm like,
oh yeah, wow.
Okay. So you know, in my mind, I'm doing the numbers, right? I'm like, okay, 832,000 for a tear down. It's gonna cost him a couple thousand to tear it down. He's gonna build up a 3,000 square foot house. That's gonna be another 400, something like that, right? Now we at 1.2. The house is gonna be worth 1.6, 1.7. You know what I mean? And I'm
For
like,
a
this man,
single family dwelling?
a single family dwelling in Los Angeles, California. And you got high
Oh
end
yeah, no, I
neighborhoods.
can't tie my equity up like that. Oh no.
That's what I'm saying. It's so much money going in one piece of property. That's why in my book, right? You know that when you read my book, you saw that I was over here. This is Atlanta. These are some $1,500 houses. Then here I am in Newport Beach. This is a $55 million house, right? You check that out?
Let me see.
I was in Newport Beach, California, and then I was also in Catalina Island, California. And I said,
Oh yeah. I'm right there.
it's something for everybody. Whether you got a struggling, you work at McDonald's and you got a little 2-bedroom house in Atlanta, or you sitting there, you $100 million football player and you can afford to pay 55 million on the house. You know what I mean? It's something for everybody to let them know what kind of money is out here in the land value, especially next to the ocean. Yeah, it's definitely sitting right on the ocean. See, Newport Beach is the most expensive city in America, if I'm not mistaken. That's where all the whales are. Newport Beach, California. That is where the real ballers live at right there.
Oh wow, when you were speaking of Newport, I'm thinking of Newport, Virginia, next to Virginia Beach.
Nah. Newport Beach, California is where, check this out. You got families called the J.C. Penney family, the Geico family, you know what I'm saying? Geico Insurance. All of these kind of people live in Newport Beach. So it's none of that Hollywood money. It's like the real wealthy families that have been around for 100 years, you know? All these
Oh
different
wow.
billion-dollar corporations, they got like islands over there where you can't even just say, hey, I got 100 million, I can afford to buy this house, I want to buy it. They'd be like, the community has to vote you in. Like, hey, I got the cash right here, I'm ready to buy this house today. They like, oh no, we got to take a vote and see if we want you here. So money can't buy
So is
everything.
that like a homeowners covenant?
Yep.
A homeowners association?
Yep. They have to vote you
Oh.
in. They have to vote you in. They can look at you and say, oh no, you're black, we don't want you here. Can you imagine that? You got to have a meeting to decide if you should be able to sell your house to this black person.
Oh
So,
no, I'm in South Carolina now. They just start letting black people join country clubs like 2 years ago.
wow. See, that's that part right there. So it's like we both
You
have
know, and
so
to me, I feel like if they didn't want you in their country club till 2 years ago, that's 2017. Why haven't, I mean, if it took them till 2017 to even consider letting you come into their country club, why aren't you building your own?
right. That part right there. See, that's how you're supposed to think about it. Too many people are sitting back and cry and, oh, somebody needs to sue them, but it's like, no, they don't. Somebody need to open up their own country club. You know, that's what I'm all
Exactly.
about. Let me make all the money and do my own thing. And I love when people tell me no. That's just saying, hey, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it myself then. No opens up the door to opportunities, you know? You know
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this, or no, I can't have that. No, you won't give me a job. Okay, well, I'm gonna start my own then. And next thing you know, you be a billionaire off of because somebody told you no. So I love to hear that. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want me to be a part of your country club? Okay, I'm gonna go on the other side of town and open up a country club, and all your members gonna want to be a part of mine.
That is so funny you said that. So, I'm working on releasing my own book. Mine isn't about real estate, not my first book at least. And I have a chapter called A Thousand No's Equals a Yes.
There you go.
Like when you hear no, I get excited myself when I hear no.
That's right.
I love it.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Too many people put their head down and I'm gonna go fill out 50 more applications. Hopefully I'll find something. And I'll be looking at them like, wow, really? At what point do you decide that maybe you need to start your own? But you know what? That goes from lack of knowledge. That's what it goes to. Lack of knowledge. If you knew what you could do, you would not be trying to get a job in the first place. So that goes to why we having this session on Black Friday, so we can give that knowledge to the people so that they can know what they should do.
Okay, I was off a little bit. My chapter is called 1,000 no's are healthy.
1,000 no's. Ooh, that's a lot of no's before they figure it out. I think you tell me.
Yeah, but I mean,
go ahead.
Seriously, I mean, I learned my best lessons through someone saying no.
I mean, I honestly understand that, but 1,000
down here where I'm at in the historic district. Do you know the first building I wanted to buy? It was double the price of the building that I have now.
Wow.
And I was told no for no reason. And I'm just thankful because had I not been told no, I wouldn't have got a building that 4 times the size of the other building for half the price. Like, no is what got me here.
Wow.
Like some discrimination stuff, but you know, that's the title of my book, excuse my French, but it's called Fuck the Race Card, because to me, all of that stuff is mental. Like I said, I kind of felt like it was discrimination for a minute, but once I got over that and just used it to fuel me looking still, I ran across another deal. Like, you can't stay stuck on someone telling you no.
Right.
There's a reason. Like, there's something better out there for you. So when somebody tells you no, you need to tell them thank you.
That means something better about to happen. I love it. That's like that guy.
Seriously.
I created a $1 billion industry when somebody told me no. They told me I couldn't get a wholesale account selling rims, these particular wire wheels, right? I turned around.
I read that in your book.
Yeah, it was so many times where people kept every day. It was just like slaps in the face every day. TJ, can you give me a new wheel? Like, no, I can't. TJ, man, I really need a new wheel. Do you got one? No, I don't. Every day I'm like, that was 1,000. That's 2,000. That's 15. That's 30,000. I lost $180,000 in the last 3 months by telling people no. Now I decide, you know what? Let me turn around and figure out if I could take that wheel apart. And next thing you know, boom, I figured it out, cracked the code, $1 billion industry right now. And I'm sitting there like, wow, I sold it. Didn't even realize I could have patented that and locked down the whole industry, you know? So it's like, it all spanned from a no. Now it's so many people eating very well because somebody told TJ no, and he went out and figured out something that they told me that wasn't even possible. You're going to kill somebody by taking those wheels apart, trying to put them back together, you know? Same thing about some houses. They be like, you'll never be able to move in that neighborhood. Ain't nobody going to sell you a house in that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, guess what? I'm living in that neighborhood, the first African-American person to live in that neighborhood. And people looking at me like, how did you do that? How did you figure that out? I thought it wasn't possible.
That's funny you say that. I had somebody ask me about my real estate acquisition in the downtown out here. Someone's literally said, well, how did you slide that deal in? Or how did you do that? How did you pull that one off?
Right. And that's the knowledge that we're going to know. Right. And that's the knowledge that we're going to be sharing. It's not just about, oh, my cousin's a realtor, I'm good. It's like, no, it's a lot of strategies and game out here that you need to know to make things happen that people deemed that wasn't possible, or we won't be able to do that, you know? So we're going to be covering a lot of this stuff and talking about it because plain and simple, they're trying to rewrite history and get rid of the Civil Rights Law Act. And next thing you know, it'll be oh, we can't buy a house anymore. You know, like, no, that's not true. This is what you need to do. Well, they said we can't buy houses anymore. And people are going to just take that and go with it. But it's like, this is why it's important people come to these events, this event on Black Friday, because we're going to be breaking that kind of stuff down and talking about it. You know, it's like people need to know how to maneuver, how to take a no, and what does that no mean, and which direction should they go because of that no. You know, and that's what's important, because too many people will take that no, and be like, wow, they guess they gonna go homeless and go. It's a nice sidewalk over there to go be homeless at, you know, in this cold weather. And it's like, that's not cool. It's like, I talk to homeless people and I'll be like, well, what happened? Why are you homeless? Like, what's going on? And then they'll say something that pisses me off. I'm like, I know that ain't true. Did you do this? They'd be like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Did you try this? Did you say that? They'd be like, wow, where was you at when I was going through this? And I'm like, wow, all because of lack of knowledge. Uh-oh. Okay, we got a question here. Do you remember the brother that bought a multi-million-dollar home for 18 bucks and then the Europeans was mad? There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on.
No, where was that? What city?
I think that was in LA. Was that in Los Angeles? You got a lot of people who will see vacant houses and then they'll turn around and move in them and start paying the taxes, and you know, it's like the one who has what word am I looking for? Possession. If you can prove you've been in that house for so long and you paid the taxes, you got light bills for 2 years, they like, well, hey, you didn't even know he was there for 2 years, so hey, he can have a house. You didn't even pay the taxes or something, you know?
Yeah, they don't you can't do that in South Carolina.
Right.
Pay somebody taxes and take the property over.
And see, that's how I win though. It's like I got so much knowledge from real estate because I used to be a real estate agent. I used to be a mortgage broker, building houses from the ground up, and a businessman. So I know real estate. And then when I go to certain cities, I know what's going on in California. And if I see y'all ain't doing it, I'm gonna come out there and do it out there. And then they be like, wait a minute, I didn't know that was even possible. They never even considered doing nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, a year later, they pass a law that says that's illegal. But all over the country, this is possible to do certain things. But you know, another thing, what I'm looking at is they'll turn around. They've been locking up all over the country, like they were saying. Okay, where I would build my own house, for example. Now they're starting to pass laws saying you have to have a city contractor, a government, a state contractor that's licensed through the state, meaning the city has to appoint you a contractor to build your house. And I'm like, that ain't cool.
Oh,
Have you
wow.
seen?
City has to appoint. I could see if they require you get it, but they're appointing the contractor. Like, wow, that's
Like,
kind of scary.
like if you don't have one of the contractors on this list, a city approved contractor, you can't build that house yourself. You have to have one of these guys. You can't bring in your cousin and Hugo and none of them. You got to have somebody off this list. So now that opens the door for them to jack up the prices to $300-400 per square foot, you know? And that's a
And see,
problem.
that's another reason why I like getting renovation properties that are like old, because A, the blueprint requirements were different. Like now when you build a house, you submit your blueprints. That's actually in the county's office, like a copy of your blueprints. They know the whole layout to your property. But
Right.
back in the day, you wasn't required to submit the entire blueprint. They just have a, because I found that out when I went to try to get a blueprint of my building actually. I was trying to figure out, did I have a basement, because the adjoining property to me has a basement, but I didn't know where was the access point. And they literally took me in the room with all these old scrolls and stuff and looked through. And they were like, sorry, our oldest record is just an aerial shot, because back in the day, they weren't required to give a detailed blueprint other than basically the square feet of your property.
Right. Well, you know what?
I like that.
Well, we done both learned a lot, and we both here to share with our people to show them how they can monetize all this gentrification, this redevelopment of the whole nation. You know what I'm saying? So Black Friday coming up, y'all. Let's give them the information again before we wrap out. And do you have anything to close us out with that you wanted to say?
No, I mean, I just, I'm glad that you went live with me so people can learn a little bit more about you and hear the level that you're speaking on. But I mean, if you're a vendor, please register, get out here and bring exposure to your business on Black Friday. And if you're just interested in, buying property in your own community, be it for, a personal property, or you're looking to invest and do rental properties, I think you should come out and purchase a ticket and come out to the event and just speak with us, because I don't know how California is, but in South Carolina, not too many people are sharing knowledge with each other. So, please purchase a ticket.
That's a national problem. So, right. I appreciate you. So, what's the website where they can get it at, or?
So the tickets are on Eventbrite. It's urban, URBAN, invest.eventbrite.com. Okay, and there's a link on there where you can purchase a ticket for attendance and also purchase a vendor booth.
So you're 3 hours out of Atlanta. What about North Carolina, Tennessee?
So we're 2 hours from Fayetteville. We're an hour and a half from Charlotte. We're an hour and a half from Charleston, South Carolina. We're 45 minutes from Columbia, South Carolina. About 2 hours from Greenville, South Carolina. 2 hours from Augusta, Georgia. We're in the middle of a lot of good places.
So, family, don't let nothing like a couple hours stop you from coming to this event, because trust me, when you can find two people like us that can come together, that can talk about real estate like we can, it's a lot that y'all can learn. So y'all should definitely come on out. It's not that far from you. I see people flying out, getting them cheap tickets, the $59 flights and stuff, and coming from DC, coming from Philly and all those places, coming from Louisiana. You got people who they told me, "Oh, I'm gonna catch the mega bus out there." I'm like, "The who?"
The mega bus will bring you out here. The mega bus, that's funny you say that. My office is actually directly in front of the transportation system. Really? Greyhound, stagecoaches, mega bus comes to Columbia and Florence. Florence, South Carolina, by the way, is 45 minutes away. So yeah, I forgot about the mega bus. You can come from New York for $60.
I first found out about that when someone said, I caught the mega bus. I left at 4 o'clock this morning or something crazy. And I was like, it was 7 hours. I was like, 7 hours? Like, are you serious? I was like,
oh yeah, those Chinese people, they don't be playing. They be booking it.
Yeah, those mega bus riders. That's people who are serious about that information. I had a guy said he called 3 buses to come see me speak. And when I see people do that, I'd be like, here goes a book for you. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, that's some serious commitment, and I appreciate people like that, So anyway, for those of you who do got money and can afford to jump on the plane, just know that we got people who will catch the mega bus to come out and see us speak, that will drive for 5 hours, So I like y'all to come on out and make it happen, and let's learn something, y'all, because it's 2020 ain't gonna be no joke. They're removing home ownership from a national perspective. The real estate prices, rent is at a national high. The cost of living is at a national high, and a lot of people don't know. Real estate agents are being paid to tell you that you don't qualify. You know what I mean? They're, like I said, they're locking us out of our own communities, and it boils down to people like me and Elaine. We got the information and the knowledge, so come on out and let's get it, y'all. Let's get this. Don't let $10 hold you back. I think it's gonna go to $25 or $30 a day up, right? Or sometime in that week. Or are you gonna keep it? What you gonna do with it?
$10 is nothing to come learn how to be financially free through And don't, you know, a lot of people out here saying, oh, that's where black people mess up. They be investing in real estate. Don't let people fool you. Okay. The richest people came up from real estate and insurance. Okay.
Right.
Why
And
do
the
you think they
majority
were
of the wealthy
redlining?
people.
Why do you think they were redlining back in the day? Because
Right.
they wanted to keep
Right.
certain people from getting real estate. And when those same people died, they passed down this real estate to their family.
Right. So also, y'all, I'll be also in North Carolina. I'll be in Slidell, Louisiana on December 1st. We're gonna also be doing the same type of presentation and everything because it's important that y'all get this information, family. So come on out and support and get this information. I'll see y'all in South Carolina on Black Friday. Come on out and get this knowledge, y'all. Leave them TVs alone. You know what I'm saying? All right, Elaine. Nice talking to you. Let's pick this up and continue the conversation like next week or something. You know, we got a lot of stuff that we didn't talk about that we need to talk about. You know, other places. It's just so much. It's like an ongoing conversation about real estate and business. Let's talk about
All,
opportunities. All right,
all
Elaine.
right,
Thank
that
you for
sounds
taking the
great.
time out.
And yeah, that sounds great. And just one last thing I want to say, for all you who are inboxing me and emailing me, hey, please send me the list of the vacant and abandoned properties. For $10, you can come view the list and do whatever you need to do with it. So I hope I see you guys too, because it's about
And you
20
know
of you.
what? And you know what? People who get the list don't necessarily know what to do with the list. They get it and
Exactly.
think, oh, I'm good. Like, no. You call these people to ask the wrong questions and end up with the realtor like we was on the phone with today, trying to double the price of the house because you don't know the game, right?
Oh, that guy with that 40,000. Yeah.
It was like he like a boarded up house. He didn't double the price because he's like, oh, I know who you guys. You're an investor, and you know he was trying, and that's what these real estate agents are doing. They're
Mm-hmm.
overpricing people because they know you don't know the game. You're like, oh, I got the list, and then the next thing you know, you get hammered and get. And then don't tell people where you came from, y'all. Don't tell people if you're from an expensive state and you got cash. Never tell people you got cash. By the way. All right, family, I'm
Oh,
about to
yeah.
get out of
Yeah.
here. We're gonna get out of
All
here
right.
and we'll talk later. Appreciate you, Lane. All right, family, I
All
appreciate
right.
y'all. Mr. Smith, I see you, good brother. Peace.